Well, good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for Wednesday, the 6th of March, 2024. So today was a day of testimony, literally all morning, by Fed Chair Powell. He made it very clear that unless there's some surprises, he expects that there will be a rate cut this year. He didn't say how many, but he expects that they'll begin the process. He didn't talk too much about the balance sheet runoff. Frankly, he wasn't asked too much about it. He was asked, what about these current reports? And he says they look at a grouping of the reports, and what they look is the overall trend of the market. And as long as they feel and believe that the data is supporting the overall trend coming down, that's it. Another question he was asked, what about that 2% goal? Is that realistic in today? And he defended that. He does at this point in time. And as the market makes its way down there, they may review what they have to do. But at this point, he was comfortable where it's at. Now, tomorrow, you're going to get another day of his testimony in front of the Senate. They'll probably be a little rougher on him than the House was today. Today was a lot about politics more than I think about the Fed, but tomorrow will be interesting. He did get asked a lot of questions about the new bank rules for the big banks, and it sounds as though the initial ones that came out might be a little too harsh, and they're going to review that shortly. So that's where you're at on that part. Now, tomorrow we have, besides him talking, you've got the Challenger Group. They're going to come out with their planned U.S. employer cuts. You have trade balance. You get the fourth quarter revisionment. Not too many people pay attention to that on productivity. You get the energy analyst for the EIA natural gas storage. Cleveland Fed President Messer will talk. She'll be lost in things because all eyes will be on what the Fed chair has to say for the day. So that's going to be where things go. We did get today the JOLTS data. That showed still about 8.9 million jobs still being out there for hire. And we did see that the ADP number came in about 140,000 jobs. So still a strong labor market. A lot of this still the service sector when you look at it. Now on the futures, if you go to my futures video tonight, I am concerned. The S&P often, I'm not using the word always, momentum loses its upside bent before the market turns down. And over the past 48 hours, even though prices have been drifting sideways, that's what's occurring. And I know you'll say, well, Ira said it's bearish, the market hasn't broken yet. I'm just telling you, generally momentum leads price. Look at the Dow and you will see that's exactly what happened there. In Chesapeake, the energy, we know that this company has said that they're going to cut natural gas production, but a lot of that's built in, and you can see you've got distribution going on in the pattern. The pattern is still one of higher lows, higher highs. The battleground is currently the 200-day average, with resistance having already been seen once at the upper Bollinger Band. It never did go back and hit that again, and now I am concerned. On the close today, you lost the bullish embedded reading, or did you? Let's go back and make sure that you had one. All the numbers were over 80. They weren't there. They weren't there. You're just in an overbought market that's correcting. Always check to see how your numbers go. Now, my numbers will differ from yours, all right? I modified my settings. I make them available to my paid subscribers, not to the general public. In Lyft, as I said yesterday, we were talking, I said, which way does this market want to go? And I pointed two things out to you. I said, if it can clear 1763, then you open the door up again for 1942. If the market comes down, then 1572 would be the support area. The market today took off to the upside. Now what you don't want to take out is yesterday's low of the 1650. Barring that, this market could be headed back to the upper Bollinger Band. Take that number out and you again take away the bullishness of the chart action. In gasoline, still not, in my opinion, ready for it to move out with the spring, summer driving just yet. You have the shot here. Maybe you're going to pull back to the 200-day average, but the real battleground isn't there. It's the 18-day, and the market is narrowed in the Bollinger Band. I'm looking for reasons to get long. That's where I think the next play is going to come on the market. So I'm carefully waiting my turn. I want to be there for the spring, summer driving. In XLF, on the financial service sector, as long as you're embedded, what do I say? I say that on the breaks, the trade will buy, lose that reading by closing under 79, and then I open the door up, or the market opens the door up, to go back towards that 18-day average of closes. In XLI, the industrial service sector is still okay until you take out 120.45 and or the red line closes under 79. Then I think you open the door up for that correction. I'm nervous here in these markets because most of the stock indices are losing, as I said, momentum-wise, that upside area. You're fighting the battle as we talked about. The 18-day average is your battleground now for AMC. I thought the chart would do better with the movie Dune, but it's holding. That's about all that you can say. Obviously, if you took these lows out in the 350 area, there'd be big trouble. Barring that, the path of least resistance might be back towards this $5 level. In RSPD, the consumer, if you see this red line close under 79, I think you'll quickly be back at the 48.56 level. You've got to hold now. A warning sign would be in the morning taking out 49.09. That would give you early on lower highs, lower lows, and possibly set that move back up there. In XHB, you still have the builders doing fine. You're embedded. I said that I thought yesterday the trade was buying. Now, you don't want to lose that red line. All of these charts are very important that you don't get a close under 79. If you do, it tells you finally some type of correction is here. When is the last time we had a 3% correction? I'm not saying it has to happen. I'm saying I'm nervous because it hasn't happened. This is a very extended rally. On the energy sector, you're overbought. You keep hitting the Bollinger Band and getting turned back each time from that. It began here, then you pull back in, and you haven't embedded. You've stayed in an uptrend, but you haven't gone very far one way or the other in the market. Now, gold has been where the power is, the lower dollar. The idea that the Fed is going to cut interest rates is all propelled this out of right here. Now, remember, often you will hear me mention to you, we have sideways action. I'm looking for the market to break out. We just looked at one of the charts on that. This is what you call sideways action. And yes, it is an overbought market if it breaks out to the upside, and that's how it occurs. Catching it's always a son of a gun, but one of the signs it's a breakout is 2 days in a row where you close out of the Bollinger Band and literally right at the highs of those days. That's often a sign that you're not going back to that low and the market's got a base that is forming. Look for that pattern. It is one that shows itself on a regular basis out of the sideways action. It doesn't have to be there, but I find that more times than not, if it's going to be a powerful move, that is what happens. In the silver, you did not do the same thing. Had 1 day out, then you came right back in. And it's an overbought market, doesn't have the embedded readings you're getting elsewhere. Now, why did copper move up? One of the things I told traders, here's an outside day down. This was Tuesday. If you've taken my outside day course, if you take out the high of an outside day down, markets often, before they'll go back under that low, make a run for the closest moving average above the market or a Bollinger Band. It's exactly what happened. And now the question is, does it go anywhere? Why did it jump today? Because the head of the Chinese central bank said that they will consider, if necessary, changing bank reserve requirements, lowering them, which would make lending available in the economy, and that finally got the copper market going. This market was not paying attention up until he made that statement to the 5% growth factor, how they going to get there, where's some detail behind it. This today was the very first possibility of detail given, and you saw the response of the market to it. In the BND market, well, the traders are all excited about that first rate cut. Now, there's going to be a race. Who's going to be the first central bank to cut rates? It wasn't Poland today. It wasn't the Bank of Canada. I seriously doubt tomorrow morning it's going to be the European Central Bank. It's not going to be the United States in another week and a half. So who's it going to be? That becomes the big question, especially of the big banks. So we're all waiting to see just what that'll be. You are up and over the Bollinger Band, but you're in sideways action here. I'd like to see this go longer sideways, but the market's over it. It's overbought. If it goes fine, I don't see a trend just yet where it wants to explode up. And you're challenging the lower part of the dollar index in an oversold market. Again, I'd like to see a longer sideways action, but if this market starts breaking out to the downside, you'll know it by this market giving you, at this point, 2 closes under the band. It hasn't done it. It closed 1 tick above it today, and the euro went right up to the upper band because 40% of the dollar index is made out of that. I talk about this and a heck of a lot more each morning in my Morning Spider video. So what I do is I wait for all the reports in the morning to come out, and then at 9 o'clock, just about on the head, I start recording. Sometimes I have these out 9:30, 9:50. It depends what's going on. Today I recorded later because Fed Chair Powell was talking. We had so many reports coming out at 9 o'clock. I rotate all the time what we've got here. So while I show this, it's to give you ideas. I'm always listening to you. People will write me and say, I reckon you cover this, and I'll look at it and say, yeah, that makes sense. Let's drop this, put that in there, and away we go. In addition, as a paid subscriber, you can write me personal questions. Ira, what do you think of this or that? And I oftentimes will do a short video just for you of that chart and send it on to you. I make a certain amount of time each week to get that done. So how do you get this? Just go to iraepstein.com, move your cursor up here, you'll see an icon, and it's under the word research. You have yourself a good evening.